As all of you are probably aware, the world records have been completely eviscerated since 1.2.0 dropped. So we're gonna be going through all of them today. The last video I made is completely obsolete because they buffed trick boosts. So we're gonna probably see a lot of extra sneaky trick boosts added to these world records, considering trick boosting is faster now. You don't have that extra delay when you land. And this first world record here is on Mario Bros Circuit by Kyle Wade. He got the sub and he's gonna be just implementing all of these crazy strategies here. I remember when this track was so simple. That is not the case anymore. Mario Bros Circuit has a lot of tech, and I mean, it just speaks for how this game is. It's so impressive. Just 2 months into this game's release, we're seeing all these advanced strategies. Also a testament to all the time trialers across all the different Mario Kart games that came together to just push these world records down so significantly in such a short amount of time. Look at this strategy, right tricking off the rail, then doing a charge jump, getting that extra trick, using the wall too to get through the crates, and then the divider charge jump to get over the tires, land on the green rail. And I mean, the craziness is not done. I mean, look at this right trick added here too. I don't remember that being a thing. So many extra strategies. So it's gonna be a lot of fun today. There's a lot of new shortcuts as well. I haven't seen any of these world records except for part of Rainbow Road, and the Rainbow Road one is pretty special from what I've seen so far. So it should be a fun time here. I mean, what's this game gonna look like in 1 year? If this is already 2 months, like how much can this be optimized? You know, like, are we gonna hit our breaking point after 6 months where these world records get too hard to defeat, or are they just gonna be pushed down and we're gonna see Mario Bros Circuit go down another second or two 10 months from now? I have no idea, because the vehicles could change, the characters could change, Nintendo could buff certain vehicles, they could even change game mechanics apparently. It makes it a little nerve-wracking for time trialers too, because they can get a world record and then have Nintendo switch something about the game, and then the world record can be beaten immediately. So yeah, lots of questions. We don't have all the answers, but we do know that the world records in this game are truly mesmerizing. Like, this is the first track in the game. Next, we have Crown City, Pluto City 205.614 with Wario, and I believe that is the big horn. And look at this, we can actually click view replay now. That was not a thing. We used to have to download the Ghost, go back, go to view Ghost, then select replay and not race against Ghost. And they added a nice little quality of life feature, which would make recording these world record reaction videos much quicker. So that's great. I hope they keep adding more quality of life stuff. All right, let's see what happens here. There's gonna be a lot more charge jumps than ever before. It's something that we've noticed with every single world record reaction. The first time we reacted to the world records, there were a couple, but there's probably more on Crown City. Just watch it. Look how many, he's already done like 3 or 4 charge jumps. There's probably more on this track than there was in the entire game, all 30 tracks, day one when the world record, we were watching the world records. Like, I remember it felt like an obsolete tech at the beginning. I was like, nobody is using charge jumps. And now charge jumps are used for like some of the coolest world records in the game, and I don't think we're gonna see charge jumps going anywhere. I think we'll continue to see more of them. People are finding ways to make them faster, and then this trick boost buff definitely helps charge jumps significantly. Another charge jump, I've lost count. There's literally 5 or 6 already. There's probably gonna be 12 to 13 charge jumps in this run alone. So crazy. And another one. This is like the 4th car bounce I've seen. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Let's see what we have here. I don't imagine this section will have changed too much. Get the double trick. Oh, a right trick off the rail. Okay, interesting. Yeah, and then I mean, I'd imagine we're just gonna see the last 2 mushrooms used on the giant tree, you know, the tree grass sections for the S bend, and then I do remember seeing something pretty cool on the second half of that. We're getting to there momentarily. This turn, oh, what? You could trick there? Yeah, see, we're gonna see so many extra little tricks added, especially with this trick boost. It's gonna be faster to go over the edge, you know, get a tiny bit of airtime, sneak in a trick, or sneak in 3 tricks on 3 lampposts. I don't even know what's going on. It's gonna be so interesting to see how many of these strategies make their way into like online play as well. I mean, look at this one right here. Gets air off the railing, or like the sidewalk, I guess, and then tricks off the tree and manages to get up top to the roof there. And then this is gonna be pretty similar, right? Just landing on the porch, tricking down. Are we gonna see another charge jump? Yeah, we're seeing another charge jump, and then get the air trick into the lamppost, and then an extra trick off the curb to end it on Crown City. Now we have Jorge on Whistle Stop Summit 146, almost getting the sub using Baby Daisy and the mock bike here. This track has gone down so much as well, so I'm sure we'll see something new here. I remember there's like an extra trick added or something. at the very end of the level, and then that enters for lap 2 and entering for lap 3, and then the final lap they do it a little bit different and they use the wall on the right. That's the only thing I could remember about this one, seeing the previous world record when the time was a little bit higher. Let's see here. Okay, so now they're just going crazy collecting coins. Really cool beginning, and then yeah, we're just gonna mushroom, get the mini turbo, immediately charge jump. Doesn't use the rock at all, but wow, what an angle there. Actually shot him diagonal towards the railing. So clutch. And then we're gonna see this strategy here, which more people have been implementing into their online routes. People have been mastering this strategy. Saves a couple seconds. And look at this. Right trick is off the rail early, lands on the steps, then tricks off the steps to get past the grass to rejoin the track. Oh wow, that's weird. I've never seen him use the left rail there. He actually like, kind of overshot the right rail. Maybe it was on purpose. We'll see what next lap looks like. And then he did a left trick off the yellow railing. Yeah, I mean, this one's had a lot of different small strat changes, I would say. The biggest strat change seems to be at the very end of the level, though, the one I was talking about earlier. Don't have to worry about the train really too much in these runs now, thanks to this crazy ending strategy, of course. Look at right trick and then a trick off the rail. I wonder how much that saves. A nice little optimization for sure. And then another left rail strategy. Okay, so I guess maybe the left rail is just how that shortcut is done, going off the wall now. You land on the left rail. I remember it used to be the right rail, so that's interesting. And then yeah, that to me looks like the hardest part of the level. Like I never see anybody go for that online, and like you're literally clipping the edge. So much can go wrong there. While this used to be the crazy strat, now it's kind of normalized. And then we're gonna see a right trick. Yeah, wow, even fit in a right trick on the U-turn before the right trick onto the wall. Check this out, this is crazy. K4I has sub 130 on DK Spaceport. I think this is one of the tracks that's got improved the most because there's so many trick boosts on this level. Anytime you're tricking onto a slightly uphill section, you know, you used to like really grip the track and lose quite a bit of time before you got your full speed boost from the trick, and that's just not the case anymore. Now there's just no delay. You just speed boost instantly up to top speed. So tracks like Sky High Sunday and DK Spaceport got improved significantly. All right, it looks like they clipped the side of the Lego block, maybe gave them a little bit of extra height so they didn't clip the, you know, the edge there upon, you know, executing that U-turn shortcut, so it didn't lose any speed from that. And then heading to the right, getting the coin here. Oh, a charge jump, so they didn't have to even trick off the ramp. So many small optimizations. It's really difficult to keep track of them all. I feel like I start talking about one thing and there's already something else to commentate on before I could even finish talking about that. We're still doing these like these drifts to be able to get a little bit more speed. Very common strategy I see. We see it on like Great Question Block Ruins before the cloud. They like to drift off the ramp and then do a trick to get a little more, just like a little more speed that way. I'm sure that'll be a thing more and more. I don't even know what I just witnessed there. That was ridiculous. They got like a low trick by releasing their mini turbo into the rail diagonally. And then they only have one mushroom left. They're just gonna save this for the last corner. And are we gonna see any wall riding here? Yes, we are. Oh, what? They didn't even use the sides until the end there. To get up to the top platform, they just like rode it to the top and then detached and then tricked. That was really cool. Nothing too fancy off of that big catapult springboard. And they're just fitting in all these extra charge jumps and evading the barrels below. Next up, we have Cole using Daisy and the twin chopper here on Desert Hills. There is a really cool shortcut on lap 1. I'm curious to see if that shortcut is used on all 3 laps. So this one has lasted almost 10 days now. So this one is one of the longest standing world records out of all of them currently. Wow, he's like halfway in the grass here with this vehicle. That's pretty ridiculous. I'm sure we're gonna see a lot more of that. Charge jump to have that boost going off the ramp, catapult yourself forward. Really cool strat. Cut that so inside. Even had a little bit of off-road there at the end, but had an orange mini turbo to get him out of it. And then look at that. He hits the top of the divider and then is able to wall ride off the rock to get to the water section unscathed. Unbelievable stuff, and I believe we only see that strat on lap 1. A little charge jump mini off-road shortcut there, and we're gonna see another charge jump. No, we're just gonna see an orange mini turbo this lap, so a little bit different than last lap. This should look different too. I'm curious though. Haven't watched this one. I remember when that strat was first found, and look at, see, they're doing the regular route here. It makes me kind of wonder too, like, how much does the lap 1 strat save? It might not save enough to be worth going for lap 2 and 3. It might be more of like a coin collecting thing, and it goes about even with the strat we saw there at the lap 2 ending. So that could be the case. And then this looks very similar. Just you know, getting the orange main turbo, no charge jump before the ramp, and then let's see this shortcut here. Yep, still going to the left, and then doing the charge jump into the wall after getting the orange main turbo, get enough speed, and then do an air trick to finish the run. Now we have Zay on Shy Guy Bazaar 151.4. We got Mock Bike yet again, as well as Baby Daisy. I think I know all the strats on this one, but I haven't known all the strats on the first 5 world records we watched. I feel like I learned at least 1 or 2 new things on all of them. Wouldn't be surprised if it's no different here on a track that is one of the most technical in the entire game. Let's check it out. All right, all of this pretty standard, and we know this new strat here, which is really cool. And then we're gonna see the charge jump into the turn skip, get that extra trick to propel them past the platform. Really difficult strategy, especially because when you're coming out of that landing and you're rejoining the lower section, you can be spat out in a lot of different angles. Got to make sure you cut that U-turn tight still. Even clipping a little bit of grass is okay. And then they managed to get the extra trick boost there by getting off their glider and tricking. If they were still in their glider and they got that trick, they wouldn't get a speed boost. So they have to make sure to land earlier to, you know, stop the glider and manage to get the full trick boost. Very intricate. And then, yeah, I mean, it's interesting. They start a drift there. They don't even get the main turbo, so they can squeak out that charge jump to create the shortcut there. Wow, this track really got so crazy. But I think the rest is pretty standard. Let's see. I think we're pretty much aware of all the strats here. Yeah, see, they dive down, and then right as the glider leaves, they get that trick boost. Cut it tight. They don't even trick off the first step, so they can have the right angle so they can stay on the stairs and start the shortcut, of course. This is the hardest part by far. The detach air trick, and they do like a late trick, and then they left trick off the red rail, of course. Yeah, and lots of speed kept after that turn. I mean, I don't know if we'll see too many people going for that online. There's a lot of ways it can go wrong for sure, but I wonder how consistent these time trialers are able to get that strategy, because yeah, it's really cool looking. I mean, maybe we'll see people doing it online eventually. It wouldn't surprise me at this point. I feel like nothing is surprising me with this game. This game is just completely off the walls and off the rails. We have Nugget on Wario Stadium 201.1. I can't wait to watch this one. This is a half a second lead from second place. Also, the player who has this world record has the world record on Bowser's Castle No Glitch for Mario Kart Wii, which is one of the hardest world records to get in that game. I'm curious to see what this player does in Mario Kart World here. It's no surprise, you know, we're seeing a lot of players from other Mario Kart games claim world records in Mario Kart World. It's been really cool to see that. Just everybody, I feel like, from every Mario Kart community is playing Mario Kart World right now. So it just makes these world records extra exciting and competitive at the same time. All right, let's look at this. This is the part I'm most interested in, because I know this strat here is very difficult. Remember, the world record was doing this before. And then the right trick here. Yeah, look how much more speed they have. Thanks to the buff from Nintendo, thanks Nintendo, 1.2.0 made that strat really fast. I remember they just like crept over that divider, lost a lot of speed, then did that little mini trick before going to the wall ride. And then that was how they got their speed back. Oops, accidentally clicked the GL button on my controller, which is mapped to A. Whoops. Yeah, so we're seeing the real racers still used in a lot of world records, of course. We're seeing an unbelievable amount of Baby Daisy so far. Is Baby Daisy the time trial meta? Would not surprise me at this point. And then here, look at this. They're not going for that really cool, crazy strat on lap 2. They're going for the charge jump shroomless shortcut here. And then, oh my gosh, they're even fitting in a right trick just like on Whistle Stop around the U-turn. Unbelievable stuff. And then, yeah, no need to get that main turbo there. If you get that main turbo, it's going to push you a little, like, too far past the mushroom shortcut there at the end. Managed to get a counter drift started before the boost runs out from that last boost panel. So they didn't need the main turbo, of course. And then all of this is pretty standard. We've seen this a million times. Didn't look like they got as far there on the wall as they did on previous laps. Seems like they had to try to, you know, go a little further to the right to land, you know, on the rail and in safety compared to the previous laps. Felt like he got a little further up on that railing. And then yeah, they do a left trick charge jump, and then got an air boost off the zipper there, and then yeah, cutting it inside. All right, how much Baby Daisy, how much Real Racer are we gonna see today? Let's find out. Lego Wee Man 155.379 using Spike. This world record used to use Baby Daisy, but not anymore. Going up a weight class just ever so slightly here, and we're still on the mock bike. Lots of mock bike, not a lot of Baby Blooper. Still seeing the Real Racer. So yeah, I don't think this one will look too much different aside from, you know, the trick boost buff happening. Okay, delay trick there. Going for the charge jump to get off the rail, collect the couple coins, at 2 coins already, of course. Lap 2 and 3 will look different, so I'm curious to see how much different it looks. And then getting 2 tricks off the rail, left trick, of course, to be able to land in a left drift. And then landing very early and hitting the wall a couple times here, bouncing off it, but now got the perfect angle, release that Ultra Main Turbo really early, and we're seeing the charge jump, of course. That was interesting. Yeah, see, this seems to be the strat now. He like comes off the rail and then he air tricks to the rail below. I've seen that multiple times on both laps now. That was not a thing at the beginning playing this track, I remember. So some slight optimizations here. Nothing too jaw-dropping. I mean, this track was already pretty crazy to begin with. Let's see here. It is nice how you can like hug walls and kind of like hit walls just a little bit, as long as you're not hitting it like fully perpendicular, and then you can just keep so much of your speed in this game. It just reminds me of Mario Kart Double Dash more than any other Mario Kart's physics, but I mean, it's still very different from Mario Kart Double Dash. But that game just wasn't as punishing for hitting walls. Oh, that's new, interesting. So that was the strat, because, you know, there's no more coins to collect. Lap 1 and lap 2, they collect both rows of coins, and lap 3, it's like, okay, might as well get the rail trick to save a couple extra milliseconds. I don't think we're gonna see that rail trick on lap 1 or 2 ever, because coins are still important in time trials, 100%. And then, yeah, pretty standard ending here. Mikkel on DK Pass 201.427 with Swoop and the Rob Hog yet again. Okay, what are we gonna see on this one? I feel like it's been a while since I watched this one. Let's find out. I do really like seeing how this track became a featherweight course. I remember when it used like Bowser back in the day. Like, personally for me, I think the lighter characters are so much more fun to use in this game. It's very similar to how I felt with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, while Mario Kart Wii is like the opposite. Like, I find the lightweights to be not very fun to use, and then the heavyweights are by far the best to use. So it's the opposite in this game. All right, beautiful shortcuts, super low air, of course. Taking the railing, this is slightly faster than going for an item box. Actually, it's probably like 0.4, 0.5, honestly. It's quite a bit. And wow, they do a main turbo trick off that ramp. That was very Mario Kart 8 Deluxe-like. And then they managed to just hit a little bit of snow, so they lose a tiny bit of speed, and then they're able to get a tighter angle, and then they just mushroom boost into the wall and then hug it pixel perfect. You know, going back to what we were talking about before with the wall physics being similar to Double Dash, with how you can hit walls and not be fully affected. We saw it in full effect there. And we'll see the same thing again for lap 2 and 3, ending shortcut. I don't think the shroom is gonna change on this track. I think that'll always be the best shortcut, and I don't think there's gonna be a way to really do that ending shortcut reliably shroomless. I've seen people get creative, but it always comes with a cost, like having to start really wide. Look at, they're able to go off the zipper on the right side and then trick off the ramp on the right side and still do the shortcut from the inside route there. They don't have to like go off it to the left and then you know, curve around and manage to make it work. They're able to still stay tight regardless the entire time, and that's just one of the benefits of being on a featherweight. You just have such great handling. All right, yeah, no, all of this looks pretty standard. I mean, this track has just been optimized so much from when we first saw that big shortcut introduced by Mick. Like what was it, like a month ago, maybe a little over a month ago. And then the little hop here. It's crazy how you can even drift through this right now, and then getting that extra drift, very interesting. How they're just finding ways to add extra main turbos and tricks into all of these runs. It just makes me wonder, like, how are these gonna get optimized more? Like, that looks so perfect to me. Okay, I don't think I've seen a tie before in a world record. Wood 22 and Mikkel here, both with Starview Peak world record. They technically both have the world record. And I looked, and both of these world records were set 10 days ago. So they tied and they set the world records on the same day. Pretty insane. Maybe they have like a mutual agreement not to improve this track so they can have a tie world record for a very long time. Or we'll see, but I don't know if we'll see anything different in these runs. Might as well watch them both though. I you know, assume we're gonna see, yeah, charge jump here. I've seen some crazy strategies online for this track. I don't know if any of them have made their way into the world records yet though. Let's find out. I saw like a crazy glider strat here, and then it was a shroomless like off-road cut. And some of the world record like players were trying it, but yeah, it doesn't look like it's being used in the world record yet. It was so difficult. I tried it once and I gave up on it immediately. I was like, yeah, this is not practical for online. No thanks. Oh, they're getting an orange main turbo here now. Unbelievable. I remember when they just hugged the wall and just didn't drift at all, that whole section. Still how a lot of people play it online. All right, no extra tricks here added, just pixeling it. Half the vehicle over the edge right there. Still doing a lot with the real racer, taking advantage of this, you know, really long hitbox. Keep the vehicle off the track as much as possible. No trick. You guys see that? They're going off the glider with no trick, just releasing a purple main turbo. Just seeing a lot of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe tech finding its way into Mario Kart World here. You know, very sneakily, I must add. And then here, once again, see, using the wall to their advantage to get the necessary angle to manage to get the orange main turbo out before the glider. Really, really clever stuff. And then, yeah, I mean, I'm sure we'll see the same thing. This track will go down, though. I saw the strategy online. People were using the mushroom on the glider, and then they were doing the shortcut shroomless, landing on the rail afterwards, which sounds impossible, but trust me, I saw it online. It is possible. It's just one of the hardest shortcuts in the game. So I think that will be used in the world record eventually. Like, they skip this turn right here. They land way further up with the mushroom, using it with the glider, and then they do this part shroomless. So I think that's the future of this track. And for now, we'll, you know, see Mumu dominating. Maybe Mumu will dominate forever because the whole entire water section is not water, it's a terrain surface. So Mumu has that benefit, just like on Mumu Meadows and like Dino Jungle, for example. Now we have Sky High Sunday 153.209 by Jamie here. Let's see how much this one has gone down since the update. Same person here. Jamie had a 154.7. This has gone down a second and a half since the update. The update is only like a little over a week ago. Absurdity. All right, let's see what's changed here besides the uphill sections looking super speed. All right, going for the railing, left trick, still doing the charge. No, there's no charge jump. They're just tricking off it. There's a charge jump here though, and they're gonna land on this rail, do an air trick. Okay, going for coins. Lap 2 is gonna look quite a bit different, I'm sure. Maybe even lap 3 will look different. Gotta collect the coins at 14 right now. Wow, they do a charge jump. They don't even trick off of the edge. That's crazy. All right, 16 coins. Gonna definitely see 20 on this one. Look at this, they're not even going for the glider. The glider used to be the strat on lap 2 and 3. Now they're adding all these extra tricks and riding the railings. Really, really satisfying to watch. And then once again, we're not seeing a charge jump onto the boost ramp. Instead, we're seeing a charge jump exiting the boost ramp after the landing. And then what are we seeing here? Okay, they're just collecting coins and fitting in all these extra sneaky tricks like we talked about. And then the charge jump, left trick, and then a right air trick to get on the side of the wall. I wonder how much that saves, because I don't... Wow, they even skipped the ramp there. What is this run? Wow, there's a lot of new stuff on this one. Just a lot of small stuff, but really clever. Like even that extra trick added there on the blue railing. That wasn't a thing I remember. Wow. And then they didn't even use the railing there because they don't need it after getting the coins, of course. This is probably my favorite part. Like, just that whole sequence right there, really cool. And then of course the shortcut. So they don't use like the right side at all in the world record. They're just staying on the left the entire time. Lots of tricks, super low air, lots of speed. And they just skipped that ramp now. I would have never guessed that in a million years. Wario Shipyard, King Alex 217.3. Anytime I see King Alex getting a world record, whether it's Mario Kart Wii or Mario Kart World, I know there's gonna be some shenanigans at play, some new strategy, some crazy shortcut, something memorable. I expect no different here on Wario Shipyard. And at 0.3, it's pretty sizable lead. I mean, this track, I think that it's gotten easier to drive since the trick boost buff. I seriously feel like drifting in the water is easier now. It could be some placebo effect. Let me know if it's true, if the water tracks got easier after 1.2.0. I feel like I can just grip the water surface a little easier with my vehicle. I don't fail this charge jump nearly as much after the update came out, for example. Look at this! Mushroom! Pole bounce! Rock hop! What? How does that not count you out of bounds? I thought if you land on that rock, it counts you out. Maybe the right side of the rock, it doesn't count you out, and then like the further side counts you out. I don't believe it. And then we're staying up top, okay. So only 6 coins so far. Let's see how many they collect in total. It might not be too many here. Okay, they're gonna land on the rail, and they're not gonna do an extra trick on the rail. They're just gonna left trick off of it, and then get the orange mini turbo. So they can do the palm tree, and they managed to trick off the wall immediately after the palm tree, then fit in all of those air tricks. Fastest way to do that strat. And then getting that extra trick makes this this drift on this U-turn here much easier, much quicker. You know, driving the water is slow. That is why these world records on water tracks manage to get out of the water as much as possible. This world record looks way cooler now. Before, they used to just use the mushroom through the sand there and then do a drift, and it was really slow looking through the water there. Like drifting while mushrooming, and then releasing that mini turbo. Like, I always felt like they just kind of crawled out of the water to that boost panel, and now he just springboards onto the rock, and I can't even imagine how much time that saves. Let's take a look real quick. So, you know, this world record, it was just a little over a week ago. It was at 218.4, and now it's at 217.3. So in just a week, you know, it's gone down by over a second. We have not watched these world records in over a month, so we got a lot to learn today. And I could see this being an online strategy for sure. This just, it saves a lot, and it's really easy even to fail the off-road shortcut, like just mushrooming through that little sand patch and getting your drift. You sometimes just don't get the drift, you just bonk into the wall. So it might be similar difficulty to do that really cool strat where you bounce off the post and you trick on the rock. Honestly, like, I'm not kidding. I think people will be doing that one online 100%. Koopa Troopa Beach. Ah, there he is. We knew Alberto still had a world record. It's not Mario Kart if Alberto doesn't have a world record, or a handful of them. We have the Tiny Titan, we have Bowser, still, you know, some Bowser world records. I remember like when the game first came out, it was mostly heavyweights, and that's changed over time, and it's a really positive change in my opinion. I think the world records are more interesting. We got more weight classes involved. All right, so lap 1, going around, collecting coins. Not worth it to go for those 2 coins, apparently. Okay. Interesting. How many coins is Alberto gonna go for on this run? Is it just gonna be 2? Maybe. Let's find out. Okay, shortcut time. Once again, similar to what we saw in Guy Bazaar. Starts a drift, does not get the main turbo. We don't see that very often in world records, and then goes for a charge jump. All right, we're gonna see the shortcut probably lap 3 and lap 4, and then lap 5 will be a little bit different. But yeah, it looks like this is gonna be a 2-coin run. And he even manages to skip a little bit of that top grassy plateau. Like, he's not even skipping the bottom one with the boxes. Like, he's also clipping a little bit of the top one. I wouldn't be surprised if there's some way to even cut a little more. The fact he's doing this is already ridiculous. Look at this. He's going over the top and he's getting an extra trick. I've never done that on that top platform before. I wonder, like, how difficult that is versus the bottom platform, which everyone does in worldwides, everyone does online. People are always charge jumping over the crates here, but you know, Alberto takes it a step further here on Koopa Troopa Beach. Gets the purple main turbo and then an orange main turbo to finish things off. A 2-coin run. James is using the Sting Bee now on Farway Oasis. I remember when this world record used the Penguin. Now it uses Sting Bee. This one's gonna look a lot different from last time. And James has set 34 world records on this track alone. That's gotta be one of the most insane stats of this game's world record history so far. There's probably very few players, if any at all, that have set more world records on a singular track than James has here on Farway Oasis. Very curious to see what this looks like now with Stingby. Wow, he charge jumped off that ramp right there. You guys see the amount of air he got? That's crazy. Okay. And okay, wait, whoa. He's going for coins. Okay. He didn't do the whole railing strike. He went for coins instead. Look at this. Oh, awesome. I've actually done that shortcut because I was trying to do the big shortcut to land up top, and I did that by accident a few times. I never imagined it would be faster though. That's crazy. Okay, yeah, because the shortcut before was one of the hardest shortcuts in the game. Being able to do the super water bounce and land up to the top section, it's kind of a blessing that that's not the fastest route, because I imagine this route is easier than that one. Or maybe similar. Maybe it's similar, who knows. All right, so now we're gonna see the rail strat. Billboard, the extra tricks on the rail, of course. And then we're gonna see the same thing here, no doubt. Get the extra trick off that post, super water bounce. And yeah, you can hit a little bit of off-road. The crazy thing though is like he's not even losing any speed when he hits the off-road. Usually you hit some off-road, you're gonna slow down quite a bit. That's why I never thought it'd be faster to take the bottom route. But you know, James, he's making it work. And this is a 10 coin run. I don't think we're gonna see any more coins on this one. Kind of curious like why this world record changed to Stingby here. We're gonna see no charge jump off that mini ramp, but it looked like he charge jumped off the big ramp. So many charge jumps now. I can't even catch them all. There's so many. It used to be a rare sight. We used to get excited when we saw one. All right, the lap 1 and 2-1 were incredible. Let's see lap 3-1. Maybe lost a tiny bit of speed, but it's still really good. I mean, we'll definitely see this track, you know, get the sub, but how much further can it go down? I think he does a little extra left trick to get that extra grip because he's landing in a drift there to be able to do the shortcut at the end as tight as possible. This Japanese player is completely destroying everyone. Over a half-second lead on second place, almost a second lead on fourth place, over a second lead on fifth place. And I mean, let's be honest, Peach Stadium is a pretty simplistic track on the surface, but these world records are doing so many crazy new things. I can't wait to see what they're implementing on Peach Stadium. I've seen at least 4 new shortcuts on this track in the last week alone. So let's see how many are in the world records. And I do think this track will continue to go down because I think some of these other shortcuts will be implemented later. So they're just very difficult shortcuts. Like you could do this shroomless now. I just don't know where they're gonna use the mushroom if they do that shroomless. They could do you could do this crazy tree bounce, railing bounce strategy. Okay, they're not going for that boost panel. They're taking it inside. I remember that. Getting extra trick boost because trick boosting is buff. We're gonna see another trick boost here. Yep. And then we're not seeing the inside railing strat implemented yet. We're gonna see that implemented eventually, I think. But look at this. Yeah. Okay. So I knew this shortcut would be used. But look at that. That's ridiculous. Like they charge jump, they air trick, they wall ride, and they rail ride. Like they do all the new techs in one shortcut. And then a little blue mini turbo rocket boost off the rail. I mean, that's a really cool strat. That one's easy. I see people do that online as well. But as for the shortcut in the middle there, it's got to be a pretty big time save because like this track just went down so much. Like Peach Stadium, let's see what it was at just a week ago. Yeah, it was at 216.7, so this one's gone down 1.2 seconds roughly. All right, let's see this shortcut again. So yeah, it just gets an orange wing turbo so he can manage to get the right charge jump angle. I don't know, to me that looks consistent. That looks like something you can consistently do. I wouldn't be surprised if you start seeing more people doing that. And then here, we're gonna see the same thing. Blue main turbo, forward boost, really low air, I must add. A lot of times when I would go for that strat, I shoot much higher. The tires are kind of like a barrier. You know, if you even go inside the tires a little bit, it counts you out of bounds. So I don't think we're ever gonna see any like, I mean, like, you know, the game, it still has its constraints. Like you can only cut so much on these levels. So that first turn, like the only way we're gonna see that first turn improved is if they start doing it shroomless. But like I said, they'd have to have another spot to use the mushroom. Maybe they can do that beginning strat shroomless, then they can do the crazy rail ride wraparound, which is usually the feather shortcut shroomless because of the new strategy where you cut it inside. If you haven't seen it, like check it out. It's the craziest shortcut. It's so difficult. I tried it. It's one of the hardest ones in the game, unquestionably. And then they could use their mushroom to do the wall ride, rail ride, charge jump shortcut that just got implemented here. I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out because if they do the railing cut where the feather is, then they might be like overshooting the other shortcut, not be able to get their charge jump out in time, but they could still like mushroom or something. We have a player from Denmark here who actually got the sub on Peach Beach. I would try to pronounce it, but I'm gonna completely botch it. I do think this track will remain a heavyweight character. There's just not too much going on. Very gradual, wide turns for the most part, aside from maybe like the first 2 turns of the second section. Otherwise, it's a lot of going straight on Peach Beach, as we know. All right, getting the double lamppost trick. I remember when things like that used to excite us so much, and I mean, the games just came so far, right? Like, we've seen it all at this point. I'm curious to see like what shortcuts and what strategies get discovered in the future, because I feel like every like 2 or 3 days there's something new that is pretty wild. And Rainbow Road's gonna have quite a few things if you haven't kept up to date with the strategies. You guys are gonna be completely bewildered on Rainbow Road. I can guarantee it. All right, we're still doing the charge jump onto the fountain. Love to see it. And then, I mean, these corners are great. Like, you really stick well, and like they're shaped so nicely. Any vehicle character combo can make them and cut them really tight. And look at that. I mean, they got a trick boost there. Like, I didn't even know you could get a trick boost there. That's like the 3rd time I've seen a trick boost in these world records already, where I didn't even know it was possible to get a trick in that location. They're not even using the rail now. That's interesting. I remember everyone used that rail when the game came out. I mean, I still use that rail when I play online. They're not using the rails here. It's still faster just to glide and get the coins. That makes sense. And they're diving down so they can get rid of their gliders, so they can get the trick boost there. Very similar to what we were talking about at the end of Guy Bazaar. Same thing. Managed to get out of the glider. If you don't get out of the glider, you can get a trick, but it won't even give you a boost upon landing. So that's why they have to make sure they dive down early. And they're not even going to the top section. I mean, they are, taking the non-water route, but they didn't go to the very top because it makes the next U-turn corner just kind of it's kind of an awkward turn if you go to the very top section. It's a little bit too inside, so it makes sense. And then look at this, he actually added a little bit of snaking there at the end to finish things off. It used to just be a straightaway, and then they used to mess with the right analog stick and do a bunch of goofy stuff because there was nothing to do at the end. Continuing with the water tracks here, we got Salty Speedway. It says it is Bray, and this is with the Wiggler, of course. It should be a fantastic world record. This track has had one of the biggest glow ups. People didn't like this track when the game came out. I think people are coming around to it more and more. And the world record was also by Bray before the update. It was a 157.7. Now it's a 156.8, so it's gone down almost a second. That beginning is pretty difficult as it is, just getting to that curb up there. And then, of course, we're taking the inside route here. And they released, wow, they only do a blue main turbo. And they just perpendicular face that railing right there. It's technically a wall ride into a railing. And then, wow, so much air. That's crazy. I always land on the platform right there. They just skip it entirely, go straight into the water. And then, yeah, just the blue meat turbo, double trick into the water. And then we're gonna see pull bounce. Yes, pull bounce, take the railing, and another flag pull bounce. And then another one on top of that, just keeping that speed and momentum to clear the water sections and once again, get out of the water as much as possible. Now, I don't think we're gonna see that like section in the middle of the, coming up right here. I don't think we're gonna see the glider implemented ever, considering we don't see it yet, because you can technically like get up top over there and take the glider and evade the water here altogether, but we're not seeing that in the world record. I don't know if we ever will, considering we haven't seen it yet, because that strat is common knowledge, so it must just not be faster, which is interesting, because like evading the water seems to always be the play, but not in that case. Even though, you're playing online, you get a double item box there. Once again, tricking, getting up top. I wonder if like the Real Racer Wiggler combo makes that a little bit easier. Maybe the lighter combos, it's difficult for them to get up top there. It's definitely a big time save. And that's so interesting to me. I'm surprised they're even able to wall ride with that strategy there. Like, it looks like they would trick and they would just fling off into the abyss, but nope, they managed to magnetically attach to the rail there, and then it turns into, a wall ride into a rail ride essentially. And then this seems like a really good online strat to learn here. This looks really consistent, honestly, so that'd be a good one to add to your arsenal. And then staying up top to finish things off. Dino Jungle. Oh, we have Alberto yet again, 145.005. On the cusp of the sub, we got a little Dumpy with the cow. This is like the most meme combo imaginable here for the world records. Just the fact Lil Dumpy still has a world record. Love to see it. And this is one of these terrain-based courses, like Lil Dumpy reigns supreme here. Let's go. And I don't know, like, how much has this track really went down? Let's take a look. All right, let's make sure I don't miss any strats. A little dinosaur bounce action. Nothing surprises me at this point. It was a 146.0, so yeah, this one's gone down a second here. Wow. Just barely manages to get to the red rail, tricking off it though immediately, cutting it inside, getting that charge jump out to clear the end of the off-road so they can get their mushroom started as soon as possible and not wasting any time crawling into the off-road and then using their mushroom out of the off-road. Charge jumps, always a way to extend your shortcuts and get you out of the off-road whenever necessary. And then I'm sure lap 2 and 3 will look slightly different just because of dinosaur positions. Let's take a look. Okay, so they're going for the rail this time. What are they doing here? Yes, yes. Oh, I knew it. I knew it. I showed this in a YouTube short like a long time ago. I knew there was a reason to actually go on that wall because the dinosaurs block you. And it's such a great way to evade that dinosaur. Okay, here, really favorable dinosaur. The T-Rex is a different story. If you touch the T-Rex, it's over. But these other dinosaurs are actually friendly, unlike the T-Rex. All right, just beasting it with a little dumpy, nothing new. Let's see what lap 3 looks like. Are we gonna see the same wall ride? Probably not. I think it only had to do with the dinosaur location. Let's find out. No, we're seeing it again. And when I did that strat, I would charge jump onto it, but they're able to actually, like, I think they use like the area next to the dinosaur egg, which maybe is not off-road, to be able to turn it into like a ramp. It's really cool. I love seeing that they actually did a wall ride there because I always felt like that should have been implemented into the world record. So that makes me really happy. I'm still bummed you can't skip this last corner here with a feather or any sort of like crazy mushroom wall ride strat. It counts you out of bounds unless you're in free roam, of course, but that's still a really satisfying world record to watch now. Great question block ruins, 202, 522, Spezzy, Speezy, Bitty Bud, Mock Bike. I mean, this one was already so insane. I don't think we'll see anything new except maybe they do that wraparound turn where they wall ride on the tiniest wall. We might see a 3 for 3 on that. That would be my prediction. A 2 for 3 for sure. All right, so they're using their startup boost to be able to get a charge jump out without losing any speed. The reason why we don't see charge jumps used everywhere is because when you start your charge jump, you lose speed. This is what I was talking about earlier. Look at this. That's super difficult. Like, it's one of the more difficult strats we've seen today, to be honest. And I'm curious if we'll see it all 3 laps, of course. So once again, use the boost, kind of like how they used the startup boost. They used the boost from the, the boost panel there to be able to get a charge jump started. And then we have the crazy shortcut. Just barely works. This is why we see featherweights on this track. I can't even imagine trying that with a medium or a heavyweight character. You would just fling off the edge, inevitably. And then here we're gonna see the same little trick boost. It's pretty difficult to get this little trick boost and get the railing ride as well. And then let's see what we see here. Once again, yeah, okay, 2 for 2. And they do that little drift I was talking about before on DK Spaceport. We see it once again on that cloud section. Like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe had like a mushroom pad spring boosting strategy using a main turbo, and this is a little different because they don't like main turbo before hitting the mushroom cloud. Like on like Cloud Top Cruise, like they had like the bouncy cloud springboard things, or Music Park, Mushroom Gorge, of course, but that was in Mario Kart World or Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. All of that was really fun in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, just being able to rocket bounce off the mushroom pads. It's a little different in this game. No way to really like abuse it too much. And then is it a 3 for 3? Wow, it is actually a 3 for 3. But yeah, see, they drift off and they hold right in the air. They just hold right after they release their drift. Get an extra little air trick before hitting the post. And yeah, let's see how this last shortcut is here. Gotta hit the ring, get that extra left trick in, a little left air trick. And then just looks like they're holding up. They're holding up on their analog so they stay in their glider a little bit longer before finishing. Actually, I meant to say down. They're going up by holding down. 158.271 by Goomba here on Cheap Falls. We're gonna be seeing the new shortcut implemented, probably a 3 for 3. This shortcut is difficult. I don't think people will be going for this online, but I've been wrong in the past with that. People go for the craziest stuff online. I mean, there's always gonna be like a handful of players that put hours into this to master it. And then a lot of players would be like, nope, I'm just gonna do my old school strats and the charge jump through the off-road. If you guys haven't seen this shortcut, you're gonna be mind blown. So this first shortcut, I mean, look how fast they do it now. So satisfying. Okay, we are seeing an orange main turbo. I remember when that was just a blue main turbo for that, before that ran for the longest time. And here's the shortcut. Wow, you can get an extra trick there in the water. Look at this. They get propelled to the left so far. When I was doing that, I never was able to get that much left momentum. That's so crazy. And they're even able to go and hit the divider inside the red post there, because for some reason it doesn't count you out on that post, but if you try to do it on the first post, it will count you out. That's why he doesn't try that same thing when he enters the off-road using his mushroom. He only does it upon exiting. So there was just the blue main turbo, unlike we saw an orange main turbo on lap 1. Are we gonna see this extra water trick upon landing here, just like we saw on lap 1? Yes, we are, okay. And then charge jump. And then it doesn't make any sense in my head. It's just one of those things where you see that and you're like, what else is gonna be discovered in this game? Because that just looks weird. Once again, perfection. Gets even a trick at the end, double trick, amazing. And then I don't really see people go for this strat online either, but maybe this is something people can learn. It's really satisfying, you know, it is. And then, oh, okay, orange main turbo here. Nice. Was it a blue or an orange last lap? Maybe I missed the orange main turbo. It happened so fast. Because I know lap 1 was a orange main turbo. I remember when it was a blue main turbo all 3 laps. And yeah, if you try to go inside that, you know, that green vine, it'll count you out of bounds, of course. It's just surprising you can even go inside the yellow divider there. And then get the double trick here. Oh, they missed the trick. We found a mistake. Dandelion Depths, K4I again, 219.4. This world record's gone down like 0.7 or 0.8 since the update. So not as much, but keep in mind, like since we last watched these world records, this thing was like a 221 from what I remember. So, you know, we didn't do a video on the world records a week ago. It was over a month ago since we last reacted. So these have all gone down so much. I haven't really heard of any new strats or discoveries on this track at all. In fact, I almost forgot this track existed. I feel like nobody picks this track online. Nobody talks about this track. This is like the forgotten track. Like, not because people hate it or anything. People talk about the tracks they don't like. People talk about the tracks they love. I feel like this track is just kind of there. Are we gonna see anything new on this track? Because it just kind of feels like a very, it's a very pretty track, but the layout doesn't interest me all that much. It's all right, you know? I mean, this part's kind of fun, but then I don't really care for this like Rock Mountain-esque boost panel, you know, uphill section. It's pretty much Rock Mountain without the boulders, and we got these pillars instead, but it doesn't really do much for me. And then we have, of course, the shortcut. Okay, so we didn't see anything new at all so far, but there's still time. That was only lap 1. We'll see if we see anything on lap 2. Already at 6 coins. Might not see too many more coins grabbed. We shall see. This is so much different now. I remember day 1, they used to just turn around that whole entire roundabout. Like there was no drifting whatsoever. So lots of, you know, lots of small little, you know, strat improvements over the couple months this game's been out. Only 2 months. The game really has not been out that long. It feels like it's been out so much longer than 2 months. I think because there's been so much drama around all the updates that it feels like this game's been out like half a year already. That's how it feels for me, at least. It feels like this. I don't even remember what, you know, life was like before this game came out, because it feels like it's been out so long. All right, I mean, we're not seeing anything too crazy here. I already knew what to expect on this one. Even though the time has gone down significantly, it seems like they're just like, you know, cutting these turns tighter, and then of course there's like the new update which buffed the trick boosting, which is really what made the time go down significantly, because I'm not seeing anything like otherwise. And I honestly don't even have really any other ideas for this track. Like other tracks I have ideas. I can see how these tracks can go down another second or two, but this one I'm like, what are they gonna even do on this level? Like what can be added to this? It's a pretty simple track. Like visually it's not simple, I would say, but actual like layout wise, there's not like too many spots you can really cut things tighter or implement faster strategies, in my opinion. This one should be pretty fantastic. Boo Cinema. We got Jbone X here with Wario and Baby Blooper. I remember I thought Wario Baby Blooper was gonna take over the game, and I don't just mean time trials, I also meant for online as well. This is one of the few Baby Blooper world records. I'm sure a lot of you are happy to see that the Baby Blooper just has not made too much of an impact as of lately for Mario Kart World time trial world records. But, you know, it's not extinct just quite yet. I could see a day, though, where we don't really see Baby Blooper world records. Like, there used to be 6 to 8 Baby Blooper world records. Now there's only like 2 or 3. So it's gone down significantly because although this vehicle dominates online, time trials, all that matters is going fast. That's what the game is all about. So yeah, I mean the main, oh, charge jump. Did not expect that. Okay, let's keep our eyes peeled here. There's probably quite a few things. Ugh. They just trick, anytime they get close to an edge in this game, they just do a trick. It's like, it's so cool how that's even a thing though. I really like how you can, anytime you get any air, you can trick. Like in Mario Kart Wii 8 Deluxe, it was like, this is trickable, this is not trickable. In Mario Kart World, can you trick off of it? The answer is yes. And then they're going for the rail here because they have the coins already. Okay, so we're gonna see the railing again on lap 3. And then we're not seeing a charge jump or anything here. Are we seeing a charge jump upon landing? No, we're just seeing an extra trick added. They don't go inside for the conveyor. On lap 2, of course, they use this conveyor instead. And they don't do a charge jump because they need to be sure to cut this corner really tight. But I think we'll see the charge jump again on lap 3. Okay, all of this makes perfect sense to me so far. Really satisfying run. I'm really happy this track has a shortcut too. I like this ending strat here. Like this is super satisfying. This air trick into the pole bounce, finish line pole. And then yeah, you always lose a little bit of speed when you're exiting the shortcut. It's difficult to not lose all your speed, to be honest. Like whenever I try that shortcut, I feel like half the time I lose so much speed it's not even faster. I have to use a second mushroom to bail me out. All right, so lap 3 here, they're cutting it inside. And then charge jump. Yeah, okay, so I called it charge jump on lap 1 and 3. No charge jump on lap 2 to cut it tighter. And we're gonna see a trick here. And we're gonna see a couple more tricks at the end. He kind of like dives down and then goes up once he enters his glider, which is interesting. I don't fully understand the glider meta. And then look at that, no wall ride pull bounce to finish things off. Now we have Bones Burnout, Japanese player 207.2 here. It's gonna be crazy, but I think we know what to expect. I think we're gonna see that charge jump shortcut into like a trick, wall ride, lava skip, and then the very ending lava section will be where the mushroom is used. I can't see this track going any other way. Okay, we're seeing a charge jump, just a neutral trick. And then a little trick there. It's so funny. You could just trick off the tiniest little things in this game, can't you? All right, pixeling it really tight. Taking the far right coins here. All right, going to the middle coin for the third one there. Already at 6 coins. And then we're gonna see like a little detach action, probably. Yeah, detach, trick, get the speed boost, right trick, maintain speed. And then, wow, they actually get the main turbo before the charge jump. And then here, get the trick. Really cool strategy. And then get an extra little trick to get them slightly further into the lava so they can clear the lava with the mushroom and keep all their speed. They even get a trick upon exiting, which is crazy. I didn't even know you can get a trick there. Wow. What? You could trick there too? Oh my gosh. And there! They just get tricks everywhere. Wow, and they're using the baby blooper too. They're not unlike the real racer, one of these like bigger vehicle builds like that has like a little like longer of a hitbox. They're on the baby blooper doing this, which is very impressive to me. All right, once again, blue main turbo, just barely managing to make that work, squeaking it out. And we have 9 coins now. Let's see if they do this again. Yeah, there's a little bit of an air pocket there. And then yeah, they have just enough speed to get that other trick. If they didn't have that entry to the lava section where they use their mushroom, I don't think they'd have enough speed to get that trick upon exiting. So I'm sure that's a pretty favorable time save. And then here, yeah, we're gonna see another trick here. No, they didn't get that trick. Okay, so even these world record holders are having difficulty adding in these tiny little tricks where they have to risk their life to go on the very edge, 2 vehicles off the edge to be able to get these little mini time saves. Crazy stuff. Absolutely ballistic what has happened to this game. I think in the future we're gonna see so many tiny little trick optimizations added everywhere. These world records might even look unrecognizable in a year or 2 and completely impossible, to be honest. Yeah, really, really impressive stuff, as always. Mumu Meadows, we got Kinzo 154.2. Excuse me, they have a second lead on Mumu Meadows? What is going on this track? I have no idea what to expect here. I thought this track had already been completely eviscerated. It was not the Mumu Meadows that we remember from 8 Deluxe and Mario Kart Wii. It looked like an entirely different track. It's also, you know, a longer track. It's almost 2 minutes in this game. It's like 1 minute 15 seconds in Mario Kart Wii. Wow. Okay, let's check it out. And they're using the dread sled now. Little Dumpy is no longer used. We did see it on Dino Jungle, so it's not extinct yet. But I'm a little surprised here. What? No way! No way! They do it Troubeless! And they use the mushroom there. Oh, this has got to be why the world record is a second ahead of second place. Like, no way. Oh my gosh, and they do this shroomless as well. Oh, okay, so they had to do a super wide angle, but it's still faster. This is insanity. I can't wait to watch these next 2 laps. This is the most mind-blowing world record so far for me. I did not know they do this shroomless. I never imagined in a million years you could do the massive tree bound shortcut shroomless. This is a shroomless shortcut. They managed to use the trick boost to be able to start their charge jump in the off-road and have a little bit of speed, and then use the charge jump to propel themselves over the gap to do the tree shortcut. What in the world is going on? All right, and then here we go, another charge jump. Is this gonna be the same as last lap? Yeah, okay. I feel like they did that better, maybe because they had a little more speed. I don't know. It seems like they hit a slightly less off-road on lap 2 there. It looked really good. All right, yeah, we're gonna see the same thing in just a moment. I wonder how difficult this shortcut is, because, yeah, okay, so they're not going to the right. Look at that. Interesting. Oh, no way. So they use the mushroom on lap 3, and then they do the cow bounce shroomless. Wow, they really changed the strat there. Okay, so they do 2 shroomless shortcuts, and lap 3 they go back to the old strat. That is so cool. What a world record. So creative. Probably the most creative world record we've seen. And then even a charge jump to end things right there. I did not expect that. It is going to be hard to top Mumu Meadows until we get to Rainbow Road, of course. We have Zay here on Choco Mountain. I believe Zay also had the world record on Guy Bazaar, wasn't it? Yeah, Guy Bazaar. Okay, multiple world record holder. There's only 3 of them currently. K4I, Mikkel, who we saw earlier on Starview Peak, and then Zay. Those are the only 3 players who hold multiple world records in this game. It's a really balanced attack from all areas of the community. Nobody's dominating this game. Nobody has like 10 world records or 6 world records for that matter. You know, 2 is the most right now. All right, so Bowser yet again. We got the Real Racer. Common combo. We've seen a lot of Bowser Real Racer in these world records over the last 2 months, of course. And then, yeah, seeing a lot of going through the mud, able to do like almost like a slip drift there. Barely, didn't even really get a jump before starting drift. A little charging chuck hop. Craziness. Probably a rail ride here. Yeah, left trick and then an air trick to not fall off or clip the side, of course. And then here, yeah, just throw an extra up trick to fall a little bit faster. And we're going to see, yeah, we're going to see the orange main turbo, of course. The world record holders, you know, they have the amazing intuition on how they manage to squeeze out main turbos in the most inopportune places. Like, we saw one there at the beginning of the lap, but then this one right here too. Like this right here, that main turbo, it's so clever. They use like changing from the mud to the main road. That little elevation change is how they start their drift there without having to hop. Because anytime you're in the air, you can like slip drift. You can essentially start a drift without hopping, which is really fast. So it's super clever. Like, I'm so impressed watching this. I learned so much every single time, and just ways the game gets optimized, you know. And here, that was faster, I feel like, than lap 2. I feel like lap 2 they lost more time. I think that's like the #1 way to time save on this track, is to be able to clear that shroomless shortcut with as much speed as possible, because it seems a little bit inconsistent on how much speed you have exiting that initial shortcut. And plus, like, we're on a heavyweight combo here, and like that's just not supposed to be a shroomless shortcut, so it's already pretty sketchy to begin with. Wow, are we gonna be pace locked on this track? Like that boulder, that chocolate boulder missed Zay by pixels right there. I have so many questions on this one. Yeah, I mean, even Choco Mountain, one of the least interesting tracks, still has so much going for it in this game. Player's name is Just F, but look at this lead. They're only 10 milliseconds ahead of second place, 11 milliseconds ahead of third. I mean, like 1 through 4 practically have the same time right now. Whenever we see like a big time gap, it's usually because of a new strat or something that a player is doing that's really difficult that other players haven't been able to implement into their runs. But Code's Factory, I'm sure all top 4 have pretty similar looking runs, I'd imagine. Okay, so, you know, we're seeing these charge jumps being used out of the start boost quite a bit, especially when a straightaway starts out the level. Oh, okay, I thought they were gonna like do a rail ride there, but they just went for a coin. 6 coins already. And then I really like this strategy, being able to cut this inside and skip the red conveyor belt. In Mario Kart Wii, we could not do that. We had to respect the conveyor belts. Not the same in Mario Kart World. And then, you know, the really cool beam shortcut, it just doesn't really get used because the mud shortcut is too, you know, it's too quick. You don't have to go to the left to do the beam cut. I do really like the beam cut because you can combo it with the red rails on the, you know, the factory equipment at the end. But yeah, I mean, it's a pretty simple world record. Like, one of the hardest parts, honestly, is getting that first trick on the platform section. Like, there's 4 tricks you get on this conveyor belt platform section. The first trick is the hardest to get by far. Second, third, fourth trick all come out pretty much automatically. The first one, half the time I don't even get the trick. It seems like a little inconsistent. He dives really far to the right before using his mushroom in the mud there. And then, yeah, that last little mean turbo, I mean, look, they're like snaking now. There's literal snaking. Like we saw at the end of Peach Beach, we're seeing it again on Toad's Factory here. We saw like probably like the most snaking we've seen in a Mario Kart World record thus far here on Toad's Factory. I mean, there's only like a couple little mini blue mean turbo snaking drifts, but it's still something. So I mean, that's definitely interesting. And then, yeah, finally inside conveyor belt, did not have to hug the wall as tight. Yeah, they're getting, oh, they're just barely hitting that boost panel there. And then they're just gonna finish going straight on lap 3, of course. Wow, this is, Momo. Wow, this is quite the improvement. The last time I reacted to Bowser's Castle, the world record was a 2:15, and now it's a 2:12. Down, Momo, a little dog cameo. 2:12 on Bowser's Castle. I don't know what this Japanese player's name is, but I remember when it was 2:15 and thinking to myself, I mean, I knew the time could go down more because the track is just so crazy, but I didn't expect 3 seconds in a month. Oh my gosh. It's a rocket launch. It's literally a rocket launch at the beginning for that shortcut. And then we're gonna see the ending shortcut as well now. Should be a fun time. Now, the shortcuts on this track, if you ever had trouble with them when the game came out, I'll tell you right now, they're quite a bit easier thanks to the trick boost buff. This shortcut, definitely not easy. That's still really difficult, but the first 2 shortcuts, if you're having trouble, play the game after, you know, 1.2.0. You'll be pleasantly surprised that you can make those shortcuts with ease. No, maybe not with ease, but they've definitely been made a touch easier, we'll say. Like this part right here. Like if you land on like the top, you know, the top of the wall, that's where you feel the boost from the trick boost being significantly different from the previous update. So yeah, we're getting the trick boost. They do a delay trick. I mean, this is so fast. So fast. I don't know how difficult that is to get the extra trick and then do a delay trick like that. But yeah, I mean, the third shortcut's the ridiculous one. Because even just making the third shortcut, you know, it's a feat in itself. But making the shortcut and cutting it tight, and then yeah, the ending trick is really funny. That's not too hard actually. I'm sure we'll see a lot of people doing that online. This though, this is difficult. I don't think we're gonna see people doing that online all that much. I think people are gonna be riding the full rail, because yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. People are able to make that work. It might be actually a benefit to be on a heavier character vehicle combo just to have a bigger hitbox and have a little more speed, because it blows my mind that they're able to have so much speed on these first 2 shortcuts. Like, I know there was the update, but it's still crazy. I can see how this track went down by 3 seconds just watching this run. This is one of the most ridiculous world records. I mean, this is gonna be like a 209 one day. The fact it went from a 215 to a 212 in a month, like it's gonna be a 209 one day. That's my prediction. 157.9, the new here with the twin chopper using Swoop. Acorn Heights is always one of my favorite world records to watch. I'm sure it'll be no different here. Then we got Mario Circuit and Rainbow Road to finish things off. Ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoy the reaction videos, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. We got plenty more where this came from. We'll do another reaction at a year, or you know, maybe Nintendo will all of a sudden buff a bunch of vehicles and we'll be doing this sooner than expected. But this should be a fun ending here. We see quite a few new shortcuts to finish things off. Really cool strat here, and this is the #1 glider strat. Look at this. This is the #1 glider strat that I don't know how to do, that I want to learn. And look at this. What is this? What is that difficult? I've never even attempted that. I mean, it looks so fast. I feel like I gotta learn it. All right, so the funny thing about this run is like the ending looks the most normal to me. When the game first came out, like the ending strat was so cool. It was so cool and so new, and it just like opened up our imagination for what's possible with this game. And now it's just like, oh yeah, we know that. It's just like the standard route essentially. But this right here, he dies so far down and he swoops up and does like a left trick and he manages to get all this speed after hitting the leaf upon landing. And then I don't even know what's going on here. Bing, bing, bing. It's like a pinball. Yep. And maybe, you know, maybe the twin chopper has something to do with this. I think it does. I do. I think some of these strats that are being implemented in the middle here, like, it's got to be like easier with the twin chopper. Like, that's my prediction. But this vehicle is really good. It's just kind of feels like it has a bigger hitbox. But I see people using this online. Granted, I don't see people doing this. That is such low air. Oh my gosh. I gotta practice that. It's hard for me to even like comprehend all the tricks they're doing. There's so many different trick directions. It's like 5 tricks in that section right there. It's like 5 tricks in 2 seconds. Yeah, and then the ending, the normal part. Oh my gosh. 103.9 Mario Circuit. Genzua still has the world record on Mario Circuit. I feel like Genzua has set like 1 billion world records on this track. Let me check. 33 world records, almost as much as James on Farway Oasis. 33 world records on a single track by Genzua. Now, I remember this was a 105, but it was a 104 before the update came out. So this one, naturally, because there's almost no trick boosting on this level, has improved the least. It's still gone down about 0.2 though, which is surprising. So let's see here what we have in store for us. The most difficult part for me, it looks like this trick right here. I tried that. I keep clipping the top of the green block. I never get it like perfectly like that. So I wonder exactly what they're doing. Oh, we're seeing some snaking. This is like the 3rd time so far we've seen some snaking. Really cool. And you know, it's only a 1-lap track, so that's probably all we're gonna see for snaking. Still really interesting because like you kind of go on 2 wheels. Like when you full send a drift in one direction, you kind of go on 2 wheels, and it allows you to cut it a little tighter and a little sharper, you know. Oh wow, they did a charge jump. Did not expect that charge jump. So many small optimizations everywhere. Okay, that's the same as before. Just getting an orange main turbo. Want to cut it inside. I think the purple main turbo would make that U-turn there a little difficult to cut fully tight. And then once again, we're seeing one of these platform bounces. Wow, they even used the side of it. Oh my gosh, what is this game? 356, 847, R-John 1277, a Rainbow Road. Yeah, so last time I reacted to the world records, this was a 359. This was a 359.9, I think, by technical. And now it's a 356. Oh my gosh, I wonder if technical is gonna try to get the world record back. 356 already? Can't wait to show you guys the shortcuts. I have not watched this run. I've only seen a clip online of the new shortcut being implemented, and that's why I was like, oh, I gotta react to this. I gotta see what Rainbow Road has came down to. And I do believe this track will continually find new strats, new improvements, new shortcuts, because Lakitu just takes the day off on this track. Seriously, like the amount of track you're able to cut off because he just doesn't grab you. He waits until like what's fair, honestly. He's like, okay, you have no chance of surviving, now I'll grab you, which is what I always wish he did, of course. But yeah, I mean, I remember when this shortcut got discovered on like day 1, it's like, oh wow, okay, this track has gap jumps, kind of like Mario Kart 8's Rainbow Road, you know, Mario Kart Wii's Rainbow Road. A little gap jump action, love to see it, but the gap jumping, you know, it has only just begun, as we know. There's still plenty more where that came from. And the last 2 shortcuts, the big ones, are the most impressive. Let's see how this water section is done, okay? Orange main turbo, nice. I'm so excited. I can't wait to see how this is done here. The last 2 shortcuts. Okay, it's coming up. Get ready, brace yourselves. Get the popcorn out. Okay, so going to the bottom route. Let's see how this is done with this combo. Break drifts, mushrooms early, spams left trick. Wow, got it with ease. I thought it was gonna be way more like on the edge, sketchy, than what we ended up seeing there. That shortcut was so difficult even with the featherweight. I can't believe they already managed to pull off that shortcut using this combo right here. That's gotta be so much more difficult. Seriously, it's a very difficult shortcut. With a feather, I can see myself doing it online for sure. Without a feather, I don't think I'm going for that with a mushroom online. I think it's just too difficult, but I'm so happy to see that used in the world record. I knew that was gonna be used eventually, but it happened very quickly. Little turn skip here. Look at this. They're just creating little shortcuts everywhere. There's a little shortcut at every single turn in the level. Surprisingly, they didn't do a little tiny mini shortcut there, but they did it on the first two little right angle skips. Okay, and then the big shortcut is coming up after this section, because we have the fake out section now. So we're gonna enter section 4, and then we have a, you know, like a mini section at the end. Wow, they used their mushroom in the air? Did I see that right? I can't rewind. I'm not gonna go back 3 minutes to see what happened, but I'm pretty sure he just used a mushroom in the air. All right, we're just driving forward here. Nothing too fancy, no charge jump action. Another trick. Oh my gosh. It reminds me of like Mario Kart Wii custom tracks, how they like trick off the edge. Some of these levels. All right, it's coming up. There's an optimization for the shortcut. So if you think you know the shortcut, you might not know what's coming up here, okay? Look at this. Here we go. This is so cool. It might even be cooler than the other one. Look at this. Flagpole bounce. Flagpole bounce in the abyss, in the middle of nowhere. Lakitu, Lakitu, it never grabs you. He's like, yeah, sure, that counts, that's fine. I'm cool with it. That strat used to detach from the wall, then re-ride the wall, and then cut less. And now they detach from the wall and they flagpole trick and they cut more, and it looks cooler. Faster and looks cooler. That's what we like to see. Ladies and gentlemen, that is all I have for you today. We're gonna watch this world record shortcut one more time before we go, but hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching. Peace.